Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Algorand's price chart and we are going to do a complete Elliott Waves analysis in this area specifically. I'm going to show you some very bullish signs suggesting, you know what, we are probably going to soon in the next potentially even couple of days going to get some more big moves on the upside. So are you ready? Let's dive in and see what is going on. And maybe it's best to go on 15-minute chart so we can see the candles a bit better. So if you remember the last time that we talked about algo, I think we were right around this area specifically, and the idea was that most likely we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into this wave 3, and the following move up is just going to be a correction for 4, and after it you can expect another move down into wave 5. But good news, this 5 wave down might be the end of a correction, potentially in form of an ABC flat starting from this point, not about the highest side. So what happened? As you can see, we did get a move down, and we also talked about a bounce back coming soon, and we got that. But if you remember, we said the bounce back itself is not really that important, okay? What really matters is the shape of that bounce. Now, first things first, in the interest of not really getting your hopes up that much, I think we should talk about a bit of a bearish count, and let's go around here. You see, the bearish scenario suggests the current move up that we are having in the last 2-3 days in Algorand is just an A, B, C zigzag, and in terms of the subwaves, you know it, 5 up into A, correction for wave B. Let's consider an ABC this time, doesn't really matter. And then another 5 up into C. Now, let's go on the live chart. There we go. So, I do not believe that there is any point denying the fact that this looks a lot like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to about the highs, followed by a correction down. And since this is actually kind of a deep move on the downside, I'm willing to say we are probably having, yes, a WXY in form of a double zigzag, and this point specifically can be the end of our wave X, followed by another beautiful ABC zigzag down into our wave Y. After it, what are we having in this area? You see, in my view, there's a good chance this is, excuse me, let's just say this object, a wave 1, correction for 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up to about probably this point into wave 3, correction for 4, another move up into wave 5 to about this point. And if I just hide everything, okay, as you can see in this phase, by like the smallest margin, we didn't take the highest side, but no problem at all. We can say this is actually a truncated wave on the upside and on a higher degree in algo. According to the bearish count in the short term, we can say, look, these are the subwaves for an ABC zigzag, meaning what? From these areas in Algorand, we can expect another move on the downside. Is that going to be such a bad sign? I honestly don't think so. And here is one very optimistic scenario suggesting, you know what, the downsides overall, even if you want to go according to the bearish scenario, are quite limited. You see, whenever you are having a strong move down followed by a pullback, you need to actually pay attention to two very important things. Number one is going to be the shape of this pullback, and are we going to have, for example, a strong move without overlapping of the waves? Number two, in terms of Fibonacci's, you need to pay attention to the levels that this pullback is going to get to. For instance, if we get very close to the previous major pivot height right in here, okay, at that point, this thing suggests that there's actually a balance between bears and bulls, meaning what? Sure, we can have another move down, but since bears and bulls do have relatively the same amount of power, odds are the next phase down is not actually going to be that strong. And for instance, we can reach to about the lows right in here, and then that will be at the end of our whole move on the downside. And guess what? In Algorand, I do think we are having something like that. You see, you can say that this is our initial phase down, and followed by that, in this move, we actually, by like the smallest margin, took this important high, meaning what? In this phase, bulls do have still a bit of power, and if you want to go according to this count suggesting we're going to have another move down, I would like to argue in this phase, we are probably just going to, by like very small margin, take the lowest low down here about 21.6 cents, and then that's going to be it, probably the low of our correction in form of, I'm thinking maybe a WXY in form of a flat and a zigzag. And right away, a lot of you are going to say, look, in a flat and a zigzag, we are not allowed to have an ABC expanded flat into wave W, but I do like to be flexible with the rules a little bit. Bear with me, it's not even that much of a big deal. So scenario number one in Algorand suggests we're going to get a move down in order to take the loss. And then what are we going to have next? I'm going to say probably a very strong bounce. Why? Because when you zoom out a bit more, you realize that on a higher degree, this is actually an insanely bullish setup. Since we are having off of the lowest low, 5 up, I'm going to say probably to about this point into a wave 1, correction for wave 2. And if this is happening, what's next? You know it, big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And you want to know that in terms of Elliott waves, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong move on the upside. So even if you want to go according to this count, which in the short term, by the way, suggests we're going to get a bit of a pullback down, even according to this thing, we are overall looking very much optimistic. And here is in fact one very important sign that could potentially confirm that scenario. You see, you might ask, well, okay, why is it that we are having a rejection from this area? That's actually because of this important level, which all the way back down here, it actually acted as a very strong support, but unfortunately we got a break of it, and now it is acting as a beautiful, there we go, resistance area. But I think we might actually end up getting a break of this thing. Why? Let's go around here. You see, whenever you are having a support or a resistance, doesn't really matter. In this case, let's just say for the sake of argument, this is a resistance area. Whenever you are touching it way too many times, at that point, chances of getting a break of it is going to increase more and more. Why is that? Okay, here's the situation. The reason for why we call this thing a resistance, it's actually because of the amount of short positions that are around this level. So initially, let's say we are having 20 short positions. By the first time that we get to here, let's say, I don't know, maybe 8 of those positions are going to get activated, and as a result, you are only going to have 12 positions. Another time we're going to reach to here, let's say another 7 are going to get activated. Well, okay, in that case, you're only going to have 5 positions left. And then another time, let's say another 4 are going to get activated. In that case, you're only having 1 short position in here. And there will be a time when we're going to reach to this very important resistance, and there's just going to be 0 short positions in this area, meaning what? Yep, at that point, we are actually going to get a break out of this important resistance. So the point is, again, let me just repeat that. If you reach to about a resistance and play with it more than, I would say, 2-3 times maximum, at that point, do not short that resistance. Odds are soon we are going to end up getting a break of it. And let's go on the live chart. Okay, so let's just hide it. How many times are we touching this thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times we are reaching to about this region, and every single time we are getting some sort of a reaction from it. And sure, maybe this is very well going to be one of those times that we are going to get an outright rejection and get to these levels. But then I think in the next attempt, we are most likely going to get a break of it, which will lead to some great moves on the upside. And since Elliott waves also confirm that scenario, well, okay, we can have more confidence about the bullish counts that we talked about earlier. Now, so far, we talked about the bearish scenario in like very short term. Can we consider a bit of a bullish count? The answer is absolutely yes, and that's like insanely bullish. Here is why. I still fully believe that this is a 5-wave up. This is WXY down. This is yet another 5-wave on the upside. However, I'm gonna say maybe this isn't actually an ABC overall. Maybe we are having 5 up into 1, correction for 2, and then big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. Let's change the colors to white. There we go. And this thing can be into this larger degree wave 3 and 4 and 5. And even that one can be, guess what? Yep, into a wave 3 and 4 and 5. And if this scenario is happening, well, okay, this suggests in the short term, all this time we were building a 1-2 setup. And since, again, remember, in terms of Elliott waves, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong and sharp move on the upside, and this scenario does suggest that soon we're going to be on our way up to complete a series of wave 3s. Well, okay, we can say if you want to go according to this thing, our move up in Algorand soon is going to accelerate quite a bit. So as you can see, one way or the other in Algorand, I do think the structures look insanely bullish, and a lot actually has to happen for me to say, you know what, maybe we're not having a bullish counting here. And for instance, we can even, as far as I'm concerned, get all the way back down to these levels, and even that's not necessarily going to be a bad sign. Do I think we're going to get back to these levels? Maybe. But based on what I'm seeing, at least right now, that's not really going to be my primary case. And I do like the bullish scenarios a bit more, indicating probably in the next 7 to 10 days, we are going to do something like this, maybe a small move down, and then hopefully we are going to finally get a break of this beautiful resistance area and go much higher. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Algorand. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.